Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. You ever read a comic and the story doesn't seem to sync? This is one of those situations right here with Cyborg, issues 1 through 3, the latest one, Rebirth. Now, this is all a part of the New Earth. This is long after the Flashpoint has been rectified now when we're dealing with, the issues after Convergence. Guys, I really liked Cyborg back in the Teen Titans, and I liked him probably, in a way, even more in the New 52. I mean, it really brought him to the forefront. It inserted him right in the middle of the Justice League, which, cool. I'm great with that. Finally, some diversity. But at the end of the day, it was good stuff. And they did it very intelligently, and I liked the way they did it. We have this writer now, John Semper Jr. Now, I don't like this guy. Does not say anything bad about him as a person. I don't know him as a person. I do know his work from the original Spider-Man television series from back in 1994. I do know his work from Static Shock. It's hard to argue with those two TV shows. They were great TV shows. He even won an award for both of them. Here, though, I feel like he's just collecting a paycheck. That's sad. Now, why do I say all of this? Because the language use in these books is horrific. It's absolutely horrific. Now, again, maybe this is just the whole English teacher in me, but it actually hurts reading this sometimes because the inconsistencies in dialogue. Look, there's slang, there's colloquial, there's formal and informal. There are lots of different ways that we all talk. Hopefully, you do not talk to your mother and father the same way you talk to your friends, right? And you won't talk to an elder the same way you'll talk to a child. There are certain formalities that we use. If you want proof, write out an inquiry letter to a job. Apply for a job and write out a letter. You will write on there, "Dear Sir," or "To whom it may concern." You will not talk like that when you go and meet someone firsthand. "Hi, how are you?" You don't say hi, how are you in a letter, though, right? We have different ways that we communicate language to others. Here, every single character has different ways to communicate, not just from one character to another character and vice versa, because that I could get. But no, from panel to panel. From panel to panel. For me, it's actually painful to read something like that. And, like if it were just grammar inconsistencies, you could say, oh, this is the editor. The editor did a bad job in checking this person's horrible grammar. I don't think that John Semper Jr. has bad grammar. I think he's got fine grammar. It's perfectly fine. But there are just certain things that aren't grounded. Okay, I'm going to give an example. Take a Rockefeller or a Kennedy or somebody of rich affluence, okay? The older people, maybe, they grew up and were taught the proper English, like Ivy League grad level of English. And all of their friends out, informally, all spoke the exact same way. Okay, cool, I get it. Maybe they will say things like mustn't, right? Using that kind of a contraction, but in an emergency setting, an emergency situation, right? An example is that even an extreme atheist will say, "Oh my God," because that's the way that he was raised. And being raised is not just by your parents. We're raised by our environment, by our society. So if your friends go around saying, "Oh my God," if you grow up with friends who say awesome sauce or Jeepers Creepers, who says Jeepers Creepers? But if someone did, you would grow up saying things like that. And certain activities, certain instances would trigger those things. So I get that. But to go from panel to panel, and there's different speech, dialogue each time, to have people in an emergency situation, like case in point, where they're retelling the origin story for Cyborg, and the parademons are coming in, and there's an explosion, and we got to put his son inside of the Red Room, and have the whole Cyborg quantum computer thing to make him into Cyborg proper. When the supporting character runs up and says, "Wait, Silas, you mustn't do this." No. When there are explosions and things like that outside, no. No one talks like that. That might seem like a silly little thing. That might seem like, oh, Bill, you're just being picky. But no, when every single character does that. When Cyborg goes from saying what he's saying and speaking to Kilgar, I actually don't know how to pronounce that name. I just read it. There's a percent symbol in his name, right? It's like Keisha, except worse. You can figure that money sign is actually an S, but here, what do you say, percenter, Kilger percenter? Not interested. Simply not interested. But he's the only one who actually talks consistently the entire time. The way he speaks, he's always quoting Shakespeare and things like that. And that's consistent the whole way through. Victor, at one point, Cyborg, he's fighting him and he's speaking like a normal human being. And then at one point he saves Sarah, his girlfriend-ish, and he says something and then he says, true dat. And he goes right back to fighting. And where did that come from? Where did that come from? He's not typically talking like that. Let's go a step even worse. And this is the thing that really killed me, right? This is the thing that it happened in the very first issue, and it actually bugged me. You have the narrator who you figured is a robot the entire time. And the only thing that I assumed was maybe this is Brainiac. Maybe they're actually going to do something really intelligent here, and they're going to make the main adversary for Cyborg Brainiac. How sweet would that be? Well, apparently it's not Brainiac. I'm not sure. They might somehow retcon it and make it. I really kind of hope he does. I hope that John does do this. But for now, this story is just sad. And the way that he's speaking is horrible. And again, the inconsistencies. He'll go from saying people's proper names, but for Cyborg, he can't call him Cyborg or Victor Stone. He has to call him Subject Zero. Everybody else could say whatever, oh yeah, his father, Elias Stone, oh, his mother, and this person, and that person, and all these different people. Oh, he has no problem calling them by their names. But no, he doesn't even correct himself. He just simply states, but this one I will continue calling not Patient Zero, but Subject Zero. Why? Why is that? And at one point, the computer says, okay. No. Computers don't get surprised. Computers don't contemplate like that. It was a living computer, even if it is. That's just not the way that I'm going to imagine this. But if the language were alone the problem, I would be okay with that. But no, it gets a lot worse. The synchronization between the main character and the reader is so far out of whack, it's actually mind-numbing. When you write a story, you have to understand who your main character is, and that's easy. The title of the book is Cyborg, so clearly Cyborg is your main character. Now, Cyborg is also the main character who we're seeing through. Everything that happens in this book, for the most part, aside from foreshadowing and things like that, is always going to have Cyborg in the story. He's the main character, he's our eyes, he's our ears, he's our understanding, he's our brain. We will experience the world through Cyborg. That's how a story is supposed to be written. However, that's not the case. See, if you write this wrong, and you write it so that Cyborg knows things that we don't, not just the idea of certain skills and things, but no, things in the story, things important to the story, then it always seems like Cyborg is a step ahead of us. And then we're left in the background and we're like, okay, I don't understand how he came to this conclusion. This book is too smart for me, I guess. And yeah, I'm just not interested. I'm going to go read a dumber down book, right? Here, it's the exact opposite, but still holds just as true. Cyborg is dumber than a bag of hammers. There are things happening in the book that we see from the very first issue and all the way through issue 3, he doesn't see it. No, he doesn't have access to the off-panel stuff that we see. Well, it's not really off-panel, it's on the panel, just not on the panel that he's in. There's supposed to be a little afterthought thing, a foreshadowing thing, where they show that this main narrator robot thing has formed a body that looks exactly like his father, like Cyborg's father. So now this being, this whatever the heck it is, looks like Cyborg's father, and in the second issue, he inserts himself and captures Cyborg's father and replaces him. So now Cyborg obviously looks at, oh, Dad. No, he doesn't have a metal detector on him, right? I guess Cyborg doesn't have a metal detector. Can't tell if this is a machine. Maybe it's non-ferrous. Okay, but don't you have something, some equipment on you? I mean, like, for crying out loud, the guy's like a living lockpick. He holds the key to all the doors. He can do pretty much anything. That's the Cyborg that I know, even back in the Teen Titans when he wasn't nearly as powerful as he is now. He was able to do anything, so he would never allow something as silly as that to happen. He would right away say, who are you? What are you? Why are you here? You're the big bad. You're not my dad. No, Cyborg is incapable of doing that. He doesn't have an internal sensor, nothing. He has absolutely nothing going on. Nobody at Star Labs, the most advanced, like Star Labs and Cadmus, right? Aside from Luther Tech, these are the three big ones that, all the tech comes through them. Star Labs, they should know. They should be able to see this right away. This guy, this is not your dad. This is some kind of machine thing posing as your dad. Let's kill him and then we win. But no, that's not what happens at all. We're all so much further advanced, so much further ahead. Now, he might turn, hopefully the writer is able to say, okay, he actually knew all along and he beats up the main bad guy and I'm going to insert a new bad guy in there because, because he'll maybe enough people are going to talk about this and see how silly this is and he'll get the hint and try and rectify this. In the meantime, no, we are light years ahead of Cyborg reading this story saying, this character is stupid. How do you not know that this is not your father? I knew this back in issue 1. We're at issue 3 now. And you still haven't, by the end of the issue, you still haven't figured out that this is not your dad. No, sorry. The synchronization between writer and reader was lost right from the get-go. Right from issue 1. And that just makes it, that's the final straw. It's not even that it's the final straw. That's the main straw. Even if the writing were bad, but there was the synchronization between character and reader, hey, I could get over that. But man, with both of these together, this book, Comic Book University gives this book a flat-out F. That's right, guys. My first F as Comic Book University. This book is horrible. I mean, I'm a little sick, to begin with. Actually, I had to just stop and give a tremendous sneeze. It almost blew my sinuses right out of my head. But this book actually, F right now stands for infuriating. I am so annoyed by this. I will not be picking up issue 4. I'm done. I was hoping to get a whole big section going and get this into pieces. Nope. I'm putting out this video to let you know my opinion of this book is absolutely, I'm done. I'm not coming back to this book anytime soon. I literally look at this as Mr. Semper Jr. is just out for a paycheck on this book. He's not trying to do anything special here. If he is, he's failing miserably. Miserably. There's an interaction with the Justice League in this at the very end of issue 3. And you and I clearly know that this is not the real Justice League. It's not. And then later on, a little bit later on, they go on to say this is clearly not the Justice League. But Cyborg still doesn't know. This is Cyborg right now. This is a character I've loved for a long time, and he's ruining the character for me. Right now, I see Cyborg as being the dumbest character in the universe. Hey, back when the New 52 was out, Superman was the dumbest character in the universe to me. Right? Like, Batman had to sit there and draw out in crayon every single plan they had to do. Superman was a lot more powerful. He's bullheaded, but he was just so much more powerful, but he was dumber than a brick. I'm glad that of all the characters they had to replace, it was Superman. So I'm glad that the old Superman is kaputs, goodbye, and we got the old Superman back. We needed that more than anything else. You want to have love-struck, forlorn Wonder Woman, fawning over Superman. Okay, that's really cute. Yeah, that's the Wonder Woman who became the UN consulate honorary, right? No. The New 52 did a lot of things wrong. One of the things they did right was Cyborg. Now, this is the worst Cyborg I've ever seen. And yeah, frustration beyond all sorts of belief. F. Boo. Guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, don't read this book. Class dismissed. Go read something else.